turf game, and it is significantly hotter at that point, so it will be cooler for the guys, even though the air temperature will be probably pushing the mid-90s by the middle of the day.
It's in the mid-80s now. There is a light breeze blowing. Spain with the ball. Carlos Rodriguez Romero, number 1 in the white. Spain placed in the mid-20s as far as placement of the 38 teams that participated in the 2014 FIL World Championships in Denver, Colorado. Twirling left and a shot stopped by New Zealand. In cage today, Casey McLean.
You can see Canada's influence on the world game already as they do a lot of two-man pick and slip action on the offensive side. Even with Spain, the Canadians winning 2 of the last 3 world championships has dramatically impacted how teams play offense in the sport. It's brought the pairs type of offense to a high level of prominence.
Should be fun to see Canada take the field later today. Off the spin, Kittle. Some more swinging around the box, but a turnover, and New Zealand is on the break. Nice feed to the transition man, Andrew Clayton, who played at Chapman University of the MCLA. 40 goal scorers 6 years ago. Stick retrieved. And the ground ball plucked away by New Zealand. They keep possession. Jeremy Kincaid, number 12, with the skip to James Devine. We mentioned New Zealand, 5th time participating. Their first World Championships in 2002 in Perth, Australia. Nice feed by Clayton. Disruption on the end line by Spain, but New Zealand sticking with it. Edward Roberts on the kick out and mishandled by Kincaid. Possession to Spain. Both teams working the ball early here, Andy.
Both teams have had very good possessions on their opening possessions, and it's interesting as it's elongated. They've actually ended up in a little bit of a sloppy turnover, which is funny because they have long possessions. Each team's generated a couple of shots and kind of gotten some good offense. You want to kind of limit those as the game goes along, because if the international game has a slower pace in the half-field offense, so you want to be able to maintain those long possessions and have them finish in goals.
Blake Vandermaas in cage today for New Zealand, rather. Check that, Alejandro Ferry in cage for Spain. And on the other end, it's Casey McLean getting the start today for New Zealand. Lucas Burke trying to make moves on the defenseman, Brad Tuz. Wraparound try, missed it wide, backed up by Spain. Josep Casuto Kittle. Got the pull on him now. Trickling in traffic, he'll kick out. Some more pressure by New Zealand defensively. William Luden putting it on in the corner. And he plows it out. New Zealand, another cause turnover.
This is a good transition opportunity for New Zealand if they attack the cage.
Their point man on offense so far, Andrew Clayton, 3 in the black. So we're coming up on 6 minutes into the opening quarter. Plum Division group play, New Zealand and Spain. Each team has spent a handful of years competing in the World Championships. Still making their mark. Nathan Henneray, 9 in black. Still some perimeter passing as Toby Delamore gets his first touch. He's one of the captains of this New Zealand squad. Delamore, the bounce shot. Loose in front. Ground ball scooped away by Spain. The pole getting chipped at. Ian Rodriguez. And there is a flag coming on the near side, a slash. Not the case, it is against Spain.
That'll be a good
elbow check.
That's a good first man up opportunity. These are opportunities where you're going to need to convert. Typically, you want to convert at about a 40% rate from a percentage standpoint. But that was a good ride by New Zealand that unfortunately kind of ended in a spot that they obviously didn't want.
Yes, so the penalty is against New Zealand. Man up for Spain. Feet in front and a shot, score. Spain is on the board first. Vamos, as they say.
Spain runs a 3-3 man up and runs a very simple circle rotation and makes a good feed inside and makes a nice turn and shooting the ball to the goalie's hip, and it goes in. It's a very, very simple but very effective man up play that's used all over the world.
Spain cashes in on the EMO. We'll step aside. 12:33 to play in the opening quarter. Spain strikes first on New Zealand. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Championships. We'll be back. Welcome back. You're watching New Zealand, Spain as part of the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships. Epic Lacrosse, the leader in technology advanced lacrosse equipment, proud to be the official head, shaft, glove, and arm protection of the 2018 FIL World Championships in Netanya, Israel. Thank you to all the teams that trusted Epic for their great gear needs. Epic Lacrosse, live, play, be. Andy Whitley alongside. Puerto Rico assistant coach, as well as Fairfield men's lacrosse associate head coach in Fairfield, Connecticut of the Colonial Athletic Association. Brendan Glasheen as well joining you for Spain, New Zealand. Spain just cashed in on the man up, making a move in tight. Spain got another shot, just missed wide. That opportunity coming for Inigo Macias Carcedo.
All good, thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Spain's had solid execution. Finally putting one to the back of the net a moment ago. New Zealand, meanwhile, has done a nice job causing pressure.
New Zealand getting some transition off the pressure now. Quick turnaround and moving the ball ahead.
Jack Adams, 22 in black, who brought it over the timeline. Flipped it off to Nathan Henneray. New Zealand lacrosse introduced in the year 2000. They've participated in the World Championships since 2002. The history of the game dates back to 1885, and as many would imagine, the sport of rugby sort of took over the country for a bit. Lacrosse still working its way on the scene there. As Clayton makes the dish from behind, trying to fool the goalie. Knocked out, and Netherlands, part of New Zealand, keeps the possession going. Shot on goal, and it squeaks in.
New Zealand's been running a pretty consistent 2-2-2, 1-4-1 offense, and they ended up getting number 12 down the alley with his hands free from about 10 yards. Took a very good shot, and goalie got a piece of it. Unfortunately, not enough before it trickled in.
Jeremy Kincaid with the score. He's 23 years old and plays for the Eastern Chiefs in New Zealand. They have the Western Wildcats and the Eastern Chiefs. Several club teams in New Zealand that players can participate for. The goal that head coach Bob Macaluso alluded to pregame was that he would love to see most of the roster made up of natives as opposed to others from different states, as we have another stoppage in play. 9:52 now to go in the first. Water break for some of the players. We'll take the break as well. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Championships.
Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
Number 5, you're watching Spain and New Zealand in the 2018 FIL World Championships. Group play in the Plum Division. Trusted Choice is the official insurance partner of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Protect what matters most. From business to home, auto and life, Trusted Choice. Independent insurance agents are there for you when disaster strikes. Go to trustedchoice.com to find a local agent today. Score is tied 1-1. The last scorer for New Zealand, Jeremy Kincaid. What do we have here, Andy?
Offsides by New Zealand, kind of a sloppy sub. Spain with this transition, they're going to end up with a decent chance. New Zealand gets in the hole and turns it away.
Spain scored the first goal of this game using the EMO. On the kick to Romero.
Spain's been initiating a lot of their offense from the midfield, but they've had their more effective offensive chances from the attack. Very similar to there, generating a pretty good shot.
Yeah, that time it was Daniel de la Casa who went to the dive, scrambling through 5 different New Zealand players.
New Zealand has had several transition opportunities. They've elected to play 6-on-6 offense. They seem very comfortable kind of playing 6-on-6 possession and not as comfortable pushing the ball to the cage.
Nice dodge by Clayton. He smokes one through. Andrew Clayton, the 27-year-old out of Chapman University, gives New Zealand a 2-1 edge.
That's their second one-on-one dodging goal. They've gotten themselves organized, put their better players with the ball in their stick and asked them to go make plays, and they've scored a couple of goals that way.
Now we mentioned Clayton. He had a monster career in the MCLA, based in the southwestern part of the United States, playing for Chapman.
Chapman's perennially a national championship contender, so
Sure.
The guys that are playing there are obviously very good. They typically they tend to give people an idea of kind of the level of play. You'll see some of the periodically teams will make West Coast treks to play Whittier and teams of that nature, and they'll play some of the top MCLA teams, and teams in the top 15 of the Division III level are very comparable to the teams in the top 15 of the MCLA. I believe about 5 years ago, Ithaca, when they were ranked 10th in the country, went and played Chapman, and the score was 15-14. So they're very, very competitive at a high level.
New Zealand turns it over off the win at X. Spain looks to settle down and even the score. It's 2-1. New Zealand on top. Fernando Martinez Sierra, number 25, shovels it off. Off the dodge, shot, save. That's McLean who made the stop. Casey McLean, the starting in cage, but a failed clear, and a flag was in prior to that shot. Getting word from one of the officials, Kota Ito, we're going the other way.
Looks to be interference, so it should be a free clear for New Zealand at the midfield. When the goalie looked to throw an outlet pass and it was still in the crease, the Spanish attackman made contact with his stick, which obviously would result in a free clear.
The official still conferring to straighten out this penalty.
Number 68 has 1 minute. I have a minute. Okay, that's 30 seconds.
Who exactly is man down here?
They called a penalty on Spain, and so Spain will
Right.
be man down for that interference penalty, which should be a 30-second penalty.
So you make sure Ben got that?
Yep, 30 seconds interference.
So New Zealand possession.
So a 30-second penalty on Spain for interference with the goalie there.
On the man up, the first goal scored today. Just had possession a moment ago. Jeremy Kincaid. 5.5 to go in the first.
That's 10 seconds.
Clayton works it left. He's 3 in the black.
5, 4, 3.
Very consistent offense for New Zealand there in their 1-4. They pop a number 5 off the crease, get 3 of the ball.
Clayton trying to individually spear through. Off the ricochet, gathered by Nathan Henneray. He is a Langley native in Canada. Plays his lacrosse for the Langley Thunder, one of the top programs north of the border. Deverell off the pick. Spain might be back to full strength here in a moment. Another individual effort by Henneray. Shot wide and backed up by New Zealand. Feet on the doorstep and a stop in cage by Alejandro Ferry. New Zealand not slowing down though. Some extra intensity to back it up. Clayton on the far end with the shot, loose in front, and Ferry brings it in. Well, Spain kept its composure on the defensive end.
Spain with an easy clear.
Just about 3.5 minutes left in the first. And a 2-1 lead for New Zealand. Clayton scoring the last goal.
New Zealand looks to be getting their legs under them offensively, and they're starting to generate a few more shots, getting a little bit more comfortable playing together.
What's missing for Spain, you think, on offense?
Well, they're playing very slow because I think they were trying to win some one-on-one matchups each time they set it up. It's very much of a dodge and carry. New Zealand's very athletic defensively, so they're able to win some of those matchups, and Spain has to be very deliberate and very patient. So they've had the longer possessions, partly because I think New Zealand is a little bit more athletic, but to Spain's credit, they've been very patient. And the more patient, as they've been patient, they've been able to generate shots. It just has resulted in longer possessions for them.
New Zealand's defense has been lethal, causing another turnover. Frederick Lee, a product of Towson University in Maryland, with the CTO. He's 33 years old, originally played for England in the 2006 World Championships. Earning a roster spot for the New Zealand side for the first time. As we approach 2 minutes to go. Krzysztof Niebeski with the miss. Niebeski's number 8.
New Zealand's missing a guy at the moment. They currently are down a man offensively.
Right now with 5 men on the field. They get a man out there on the loose ball at midfield. Knocked away, Deverell with it. Well, thanks to the stout defense on the New Zealand side, they've dominated possession in this first quarter. Clayton's got a goal already. On the skip, Deverell the shot. Save Ferry. And the defenseman bails him out. A relatively easy clear again for Spain with under a minute to play in the quarter. On the feed.
A little fancy, a little too fancy in that situation.
That was the BTB feed by Carcedo. Spain gets it back, a shot on goal. McLean rips it in. maybe a bit too excited in that circumstance.
Under a minute and teams get a little bit more frenetic in the pace of play and generate some unsettled chances.
15 seconds now to go in the quarter. Time winding down. Ball loose up at the top of the box. And knocked out by Spain as time runs out. They just let one rip from midfield. First 20 minutes are in the books. Plum Division play is underway. Spain and New Zealand. New Zealand leads 2-1 at the end of one. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships.
You're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
The Chapman School of the MCLA, making dodges left and right.
He's very clearly one of their dynamic offensive players. I think Spain has figured out that they're trying to limit his possession and get the ball out of his stick. I think the more he's able to dodge as a feeder, I think he's going to open up their offense, because obviously they're very aware of his ability to score and ability to make plays. And the more he's going to involve his teammates, the more effective New Zealand's offense is going to be. Now that we're into a quarter, I think both teams are going to kind of become a little bit more fluid offensively. Obviously, there's a little bit of jitters and a lot of energy in that first period and a lot of excitement. And so now that everyone's gotten those initial jitters out, we're going to start to settle in and obviously see a very competitive game as these teams are fairly evenly matched and have done a good job playing.
Seventh year Spain participates in the World Championships. New Zealand on the other side, fifth time participating. So a miscommunication at X for Javier Perez Coca Rosello. He took the face-off and the violation led to New Zealand possession. Backed up by Spain, can they clear smoothly? Here's the pull, Alberto Hoffman Rodriguez, 2 in the white.
New Zealand may have gotten away with an offsides there. The attackman went across the midfield line and then kind of snuck off the field and was able to disguise the error in the ride.
Assistant coaches for Mike Bartlett are Luke Goldstock and Jack Lambert, both products of UNC Chapel Hill, 2016 national champions. And Coach Bartlett making his case about the missed call on the offsides. It is Spain ball, down a goal, 2-1. Second quarter is underway. Jonas Nianu, 45 in white.
Spain continues to be very patient on offense, and they're looking to win some one-on-one matchups, as I said earlier, and they're being very, very patient. The longer possessions ultimately over time can really benefit them, because the longer you play defense, it's obviously extraordinarily difficult and tiring. So they can ultimately win this with their continued patience by wearing down the New Zealand defense.
Daniel De Casa with the last attempt for Spain. The Spanish forwards remain in the zone. Nice break by Kincaid, 12 in black right in front of you. He's got 1 goal today, one of the 2 for New Zealand. Spain scored the first goal of the contest. Connor Cinquerana with the goal. New Zealand, on the other hand, while we've talked about Spain's patience offensively, they've been just as patient.
They've been very deliberate. We talked initially about the organizational standpoint. They have been very, very structured and done a nice job with flow in their 1-4-1 and 2-2-2 sets. they've generated the better shots over the course of the game. The goalie for Spain has made some really good plays. He's kind of, we talked at the beginning about how goalie play is obviously one of the great equalizers, and he has at least 5 saves as this has gone along, and that's obviously off of good shots, and it helps maintain, obviously keep Spain in the ball game.
Alvaro Crucero Faras in goal today for Spain. Alejandro Ferri wearing number 64 today. If you notice, Spain is wearing penny jerseys. Their equipment was lost in transit on their commute. That's not stopping them from competing. And there is a cross-check, or
they will get to go on the man up again and see if they can convert again. That was a cross-check in the back. It's anytime that a player has his back there, you're going to have to just concede that. That's always you always try to coach that, but it's guys going for the ball. Sometimes they get a little overzealous in their attempt to go get it.
That's New Zealand's Frederick Lee with the cross-check from behind. Talked about his career at Towson. Graduated in 2008. He was born in England. He became a U.S. citizen in 2004. But with New Zealand connections, he's traveled there during his lifetime. He's 33 years old. Proudly presenting for the 2018 FIL World Championships Plum Division play. 4.5 minutes into quarter 2. Spain on the man up. They've scored there once today. Poor feed. New Zealand trying to take advantage, and it does so. Vander Maas, though, beat to the punch at midfield as Daniel de la Casa comes in and causes disruption. But back to New Zealand. Jack Adams the dish, and it's put home top shelf.
New Zealand with a very good transition opportunity. Chapman picks it up at the midfield. Clayton picks it up at the midfield, attacks the cage, and 2 passes later, they're able to finish on the transition play. They had a couple of opportunities. This was the first one they really kind of pushed cleanly, and it very, very, very slick play. Beats the goalie to the near pipe and able to finish effectively.
Big time finish for New Zealand to increase its run to 3-0 and its lead to 2. Spain wins the faceoff. 14 minutes to go in the first half. See if the patience keeps up as this deficit increases on the Spanish side. Up top here for Spain, Jonas Nianu. 45 in the white, awaiting a pass, perhaps a skip.
Spain has felt like this matchup with the short stick for them has been one they wanted to initiate with, and this is how they've initiated their offense several times.
A nice individual effort all the way down and putting it home. Sincrana with another goal. That's his second, and the second for Spain.
Sincrana has initiated Spanish's offense probably the most effectively. And obviously, he won his matchup there. New Zealand chose not to slide, and then he made a good shot inside of 10 yards. They probably need to continue that as much as they can. They've been able to generate most of their effective offense with him with the ball in his stick.
Tim Brebner with the other goal a moment ago for New Zealand. So the score now 3-2, New Zealand in front of Spain. Miscue at X on the New Zealand side. That's the first we've seen that today by Sol Alberton. Spain ball looking to tie it up.
One there, one going out there.
So let's keep an eye on 50 for Spain at Sincrana.
New Zealand shifted a pole to him. They obviously don't want to make the mistake with a short stick on him after the last possession.
Max Vandermaas has the tough assignment of defending Sincrana. Off the cut, Sincrana looking. A nice idea by Spain. And no deflection called on the near sideline. Spain was hoping to keep there, and Vandermaas comes away with it. He is one of two Vandermaases on the roster. Blake Vandermaas, the backup goalie. 11 minutes now to go in the first half. The score 3-2, New Zealand.
Spain being deliberate on the ride, forcing New Zealand to be patient and to complete a series of passes to get out. They do a nice job.
Delamore to Brebner. Looking for an angle on the end line.
New Zealand seems to like this matchup, and I bet they're going to initiate from here.
Henare has the short stick.
Yes. Thank you.
Pass to Delamore. Off the pivot foot. Thought about shooting it. Now the feed in front. Nice idea.
Good look inside. Good breakout. Overthrows him.
Faras with the stop in the Spain cage. But a failed clear on the Spanish end. Clayton's got one goal today. Searching to pass to the cutter.
Hydration break, gentlemen.
To a timeout on the field. 9:35 now to play in the first half. Plum Division group play. New Zealand and Spain. New Zealand the lead 3-2. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Championships. We'll be back.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Midway through quarter number 2, New Zealand up 3-2. Today's game brought to you by Signature Lacrosse. Signature, a company built by the players for the players, focused on revolutionizing the progression of the game. Follow Signature Lacrosse on Instagram at Signature Lacrosse to stay up to date on product releases like Magic Mesh, the longest lasting, strongest, and #1 performance mesh in the game. Signature Lacrosse. Brendan Glasheen with Andy Whitley, bringing you Spain, New Zealand, Plum Division group play. Spain's had a hard time in transition, while New Zealand has thrived in those situations. And they're looking to tack on another.
New Zealand did a great job on the ride there. Spain put the ball in Sincana's stick, and ultimately New Zealand decided to double team him to prevent him from running the ball out and was able to secure the turnover.
Andrew Clayton for New Zealand, #3 in the black. He's on the bottom right of your screen. He has started to draw a couple of double teams, never mind the poles that are starting to flick out on him. Delamore has it back up top, 5 in black. Circles through. Out to Deverill. Now Clayton with the bounce shot. And it's wide.
I think if Clayton attacks the middle of the goal and ultimately doesn't fade to behind the cage, he actually will finish and score on that. It's a tough matchup for Spain. He is very difficult for them to cover one-on-one.
Alvaro Cuchero Faras doing his own in cage, though, to make stops for Spain and keep them within 1. Off the misfire, it's Casper White-Harris who picks it up and dishes to Kincaid. Now it's Edward Roberts. He crashes in and puts one in top shelf. New Zealand doubling Spain 4-2.
A good one-on-one move. He was able to get underneath and get back to the front of the cage. Roberts did a really good job just kind of getting underneath his defender, sliding back to the front of the cage and finishing to the far pipe. Very slick play and a good shot. Tough save for the goalie. He wasn't able to make it.
Clock continues to run as we approach 7 minutes now to play here in the first half.
New Zealand's been a little bit putting their personnel defensively on the face-off. They haven't liked the way the initial face-off has gone for them, so they're kind of preventing the fast break.
Off the wing, it's Spain. Inigo Macias Carcedo with the ground ball. So we've talked about Spain, Andy, and its ball movement, its patience. How can they get more grade A chances?
I think they're going to have to take some chances in transition. They've been able to get them off of the saves from their goalie. Part of the reason I think they're able they've been in the game is they, in fact, have controlled the overall pace of play. It's been a little bit slower. They have won a majority of the draws, and as we've talked about, they have gotten saves. But in order to kind of generate some of those chances, New Zealand seems to have the better personnel and can win the one-on-one matchups. They may have to take a few chances in transition to try and mitigate some of those one-on-one disadvantages that they have.
Scrum on the near sideline, brought out by Spain. Nice move by Rodriguez Romero. But he shot it wide, and the New Zealand sideline fired up.
Very physical slide by New Zealand, reminiscent of a tough CAA Towson play. Seen that many times.
And a Towson product right in the thick of that defense, 24, Frederick Lee. Played for Towson in 2006, 2007, 2008, right around then. 2008 graduate. It's been a low-scoring affair. New Zealand has scored 3 of the last 4 goals. Last look coming from De La Casa, but backed up by the Spanish side.
Another very good dodge. They've been very patient in elongating their dodges. The longer they've been able to hold on to them, the more shots they've been able to generate. Unfortunately, they didn't get that shot backed up, and they lost an opportunity off of a good offensive set. Spain is face guarding the short sticks of New Zealand, trying to make their poles handle the ball. Obviously, that's not something you want to do in the clearing game. You want to try to get it to your short sticks and let them win one-on-one matchups in space. But Spain is trying to ultimately face guard and prevent that happening.
McLean with the clear. Now Clayton can go to work. Off the ricochet, it's Spain looking to generate transition. De La Casa comes away with it, and a flag comes in. Some roughing on the New Zealand side, and we'll see Spain on the man up again.
This is another one of those chances they're going to need to take advantage of. Obviously, they're 1 for 2 thus far, but that was one of those unsettled situations. They generated an extra man opportunity, and this is another scoring chance to close the gap.
New Zealand makes personnel changes, being down a man. Spain's been good here today, as Andy mentioned, 1 for 2. First goal of the game was with the extra man. Keep an eye on 50, Connor Quingrana. He's got 2 goals in this one.
They've run a rotation play between the 4 players on the left-hand side originally. We'll see if they go back to that. Obviously, they're setting up that righty wing shot with one of their best offensive players.
St. Grana had the shot deflected. On the feed, a no-look attempt, and McLean scoops it out of the air. The New Zealand goalie.
I think they called interference on the goalie there on the loose ball.
That's today's head official, Blair Fraser. Down on the end line. De La Casa. The D tightening for New Zealand up top.
Spain definitely feels like their best chance to win some of these one-on-one matchups is against the short stick number 7 for New Zealand, because they clearly kind of set up their offense to dodge him, and it seems everything initiates out of there.
First half is winding down, less than 80 seconds total. St. Grana on the cutoff, the pick up top. He gathers the deflection. Nice play by Vandermaas. The pole with under a minute to play in the first. Transition time for New Zealand. Clayton spins a pass. They almost thread the needle, but they slow it down, looking for the final shot.
They will probably set something up once they get their personnel on and run a set piece here at the end to try and get one late in the period. Look for Clayton to be either on the initiating or to run it so that they put him on the finishing end of the play.
New Zealand has scored 3 of the last 4 goals overall. And head coach Bob Macaluso uses a timeout on the New Zealand side with 21 seconds. The score 4-2. New Zealand leading Spain. So try to take us inside this New Zealand huddle. What is Bob Macaluso looking to draw up? I would think Andrew Clayton's going to be involved. Edward Roberts with a goal as well on the New Zealand end. Singrana with one of the goals on the, two of the goals for Spain.
They're going to start the ball with Clayton. They obviously feel like he can win this matchup. With a double crease, look for them to exchange the double crease and then look for number 12, Jeremy Kincaid, on the cut after Clayton wins his matchup if he's not able to get to the front of the cage.
Yeah, Clayton's only got 1 goal. Kincaid's got the other. He flips BTB. Still loose. 9 seconds to work with. Delamore running out of room. Shovels it to White Harris. And the first half clock reaches triple zeros.
Spain did a great job sniffing that out, and Clayton very nearly made a very slick play to finish the half anyway. So it was a good job by both sides kind of recognizing what was happening, and good job by Clayton almost nearly making a terrific play there at the end.
Can some that
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Championships in Netanya, Israel. Andy Whitley, Brendan Glasheen. Andy, so a 4-2 lead for New Zealand. Give us a key for each team here in the second half.
I think New Zealand's going to have to continue to just grind offensively. They're going to have to take advantage of their athleticism. I think they've been a little bit more passive than they need to be. I think if they start to push the ball in transition and take advantage of Andrew Clayton's ability to create shots and difficulty for Spain to cover them, I think they will have a chance to really up their offense. Spain has to continue to play to make this a half-field game, kind of go half-field possession for half-field possession. They're going to need to continue to get a high-level goalie play, and they're going to need to continue to win faceoffs. They are going to, as he said towards the end of the first half, they're going to have to start to take some chances offensively and probably in transition to create offense. They just athletically haven't been able to get by the poles of New Zealand.
First win at X in the second half. Javier Perez, Coca Rosello on the Spain end. 4 different goal scorers for New Zealand in that first half. 2 goals on the Spain side coming from the same player, Connor Cingrana. He's got the ball here, dodging on the end line, and just speared it wide. Backed up, though, by Diego Larraz Ramirez. It's interesting, you watch the players, they're hearing whistles from one field that is directly behind us, and they think it's a whistle on their field.
There's a hesitation at times when there shouldn't be.
Right behind us, it's Poland and Uganda in Olive Division play. Hong Kong and Luxembourg also in the Olive Division. They played last night to kick off the 2018 World Games in lacrosse. Hong Kong won 20-1. Luxembourg's first ever game in the FIL World Championships.
It's always good to see new teams get into the World Games. Good for expansion of the sport.
Vandermaas with the feed in transition for New Zealand, but plucked the other way, and Spain is on the move. Nianu, the flip, and a score! Josep Casuto Kittel on the doorstep to make it a 1-goal game.
That's one of those transition opportunities that Spain needs to take advantage of, and they did a great job off of the turnover, pushing the ball upfield and stringing together a couple of passes in order to finish in transition there.
Kittel, an attackman, 32 years of age. He plays for the Alcante Barefoots, one of the club programs in Spain. We've got a 1-goal game here in the third quarter. Just about 3 minutes in to half number 2. This is Spain's 7th year participating. They've participated every year in the World Games with the exception of 2006, while New Zealand takes part in its 5th World Championships. Spain's carrying a little momentum after the turnover by New Zealand.
A sloppy turnover by New Zealand where they ran out of bounds. Unfortunately, this will give Spain a chance to tie the game now.
Spain's sideline has kept its composure the entire game thus far. Some calls were not going their way early. And you had said something earlier, on or off the air, I don't remember, but the physicality and the representation of the country really sticks out on the New Zealand end.
They're extraordinarily athletic, and I think they need to play a little bit faster and kind of impose that on the Spanish team. They have a few more big bodies and more length, particularly on defense, and I think they've got some big athletic midfielders that they should initiate a little bit more aggressively. It'll probably also open up their offense a little bit more for Andrew Clayton as a result, if they end up kind of initiating with some of the other guys. That if they put Clayton in space, he has a chance to be very effective.
Shot on goal, that's from Kincaid, who scored one in the first half. Plucked out, though, by McLean. Rather, Faras with the stop. Alvaro Cuchero Faras in cage for Spain.
The Spanish goaltending has been very, very good in this game so far. They have had at least 5 chances inside of 10 yards that ultimately are the type of shot you're looking to generate. And if the goalie makes a save, that's obviously a good save by the goalie. But New Zealand needs to ultimately finish those in order to stretch their lead.
Kittel scored the last goal, first one of the second half. 4-3. Netherlands by 1, New Zealand by 1, Spain with the ball. Diego Lares Ramirez, 68 in white, looking for the catch. Bounce shot by Cinquana. Flag tossed in at the last moment.
That's at least the second foul that Cinquana's drawn. He's been a tough cover. He's been the one significant tough cover for New Zealand. When they've initiated with him, they've had to slide to him, and then ultimately he's drawn a couple of fouls along the way too. It's interesting, they haven't automatically sent a long pole to him. They've been okay with him periodically having a short stick on him, and he's really done a good job taking advantage of that.
Feed upstairs over the head of Daniel de la Casa. Turnover Spain. And back to New Zealand. Took them a little bit to find their rhythm offensively in the first half. Perhaps they've come out a bit too comfortable in half number 2. We have a delayed flag. Now it comes down. New Zealand on the man up. Kincaid, the skip to Clayton, but a last-minute deflection by Spain's D.
Kincaid, and a nice initiation, big physical dodger, creates some space, throws it to Clayton. He just drops it. They had a chance, though. That was exactly the type of offense they're looking to generate.
So from the far side, today's head official, Blair Fraser, a hold against Daniel de la Casa of Spain. So the New Zealand side on the man up. First time we see the New Zealand man up today, Andy.
They are in their 1-4, very consistent. New Zealand's like to have a guy inside, have two players inside. They pop a guy off the crease.
Delamore with the shot. And he paints the bottom of the net. Another goal scorer for New Zealand. That's 5 different goal scorers. Toby Delamore putting it in.
Delamore was looking to draw one of the Spanish defenders. They ultimately never came to him, and he just stepped in and shot it and made a shot. Spain needs to ultimately, it's hard to play chicken in those situations because the offense ultimately, you have to play the ball. Delamore recognizes that they didn't play him, stepped in, made a good shot.
That was the first time we saw Spain's man-down defense, so perhaps shaking off the cobwebs in that regard. Now it's 5-2. A contribution from everybody on the New Zealand end. Saul Oberton taking face-offs on the New Zealand side. And he commits a violation, so Spain possession.
Spain continues to win draws, and it's allowed them to kind of keep the pace at the level that I think they're most comfortable with.
Scooped up by Rodriguez Romero, number 1 in white. On the feed, De La Casa could not reel it in. A poor pass leads to a turnover, and New Zealand is on the move. Jack Adams. Roberts with the dump to Clayton. James Devine with the touch. New Zealand sets up its offense here. Tough shot. White Harris with the look and a save by Fajas. On a loose ball against the clear, Devine had it.
Oh, they're going to give him a penalty for that.
Edward Roberts called for the penalty.
Stop the clock. Timeout time.
The officials will get together as we have a timeout here on the field. And we'll receive some clarity on the latest call. 9:49 left in the third quarter. New Zealand leads 5-2. Break on the field for the players to rehydrate. We'll take it as well. Again, 9:49 left in the third. New Zealand 5, Spain 2. You're watching Plum Division Group Play of the 2018 FIL World Championships.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Saving today and bank-beating exchange rates, no fees or commissions on your international money transfer needs. And with the support for 60 different currencies, find out more about us during the championships at jbcmoney.com. Spain working the ball here after the win. It's man down for New Zealand. Spain on the man up. They've been successful in this spot today.
This is a big conversion chance for them because if they can keep the game fairly close, if they can put one in the hoop here.
Ninau with the miss. Jonas Ninau, number 45, from the top of the box. Another look. This one's a bouncer, and it's good. Daniel De La Casa with the celebration to follow. It's 5-3 in favor of New Zealand.
I don't think that'll go in as a man-up goal for Spain, but New Zealand got a little bit complacent as the penalty released, kind of relaxed. Spain kind of put some pressure on the man down while the released player was coming in from the top of the box and was able to step in and make a shot, basically uncontested as New Zealand was looking to match up in that situation.
First one today for Daniel De La Casa and a player on Spain not named, Connor Quingrana.
Another big face-off win by Spain. It's allowed them to really avoid some of the runs when New Zealand started to get a little bit of momentum. They've been able to keep the game at the pace they would like, continue to have long possessions, and the longer that they stick around, and I think the more comfortable and more confident they will get, certainly the better for Spain.
As long as they keep winning face-offs, they'll stay right in this thing. Race for the backup. And the defenseman, James France, wins the race for New Zealand. He's heading to St. Vincent College this spring. Played at Maryland Extreme High School. He's from Kensington, Maryland. Also a rugby player in high school. Fits in with the New Zealand culture.
Yes, yes.
New Zealand does clear, but disruption by its defense on the Spain end.
the Spanish ride looking to take away the New Zealand short sticks, again, was very effective, and they just have to ultimately come away with the ball here. They created the loose ball chance for them.
.6:45 to play in the third. Edward Roberts with the kick to White Harris. Casper White Harris.
It's been a little bit since Andrew Clayton has touched the ball. New Zealand would do well to get him a significant touch on this possession in order to get the ball and create some offense for them. He's been the significant linchpin for their offense so far.
He was hanging out in front of the crease on that last sequence. He's been shut down with multiple bodies on the Spain side defending him. On a poor pass, Spain causes the turnover, and the Spanish offense can relay onto the field.
Yeah, all good here. 1 for 1, gentlemen. 1 for 1. Wait for him. Wait for him.
5-3 is our score. Spain trailing by 2. With the ball, 5:40 to go in the third quarter.
Spain continuing to be very deliberate. It looks like they're going to initiate with their attack in this possession.
We've informed all the benches. We've informed all the benches, and now we all know.
Nice slide defensively by France on the individual effort.
That's a big save by the New Zealand goalie.
Casey McLean. Spain still working it. It's Martinez Sierra. Bottled up, but he got rid of it. And the bounce shot wide on the Spain end. Well, you had said just to start the quarter, Spain's got to ramp it up a bit offensively, and they've done so, getting a lot of shots off here.
That's the second time they've had a chance on the doorstep. The previous possession, they had somebody on the left pipe, and they had just missed the pass. A couple of opportunities to ultimately finish.
Nicely done by the two-way midi, Martinez Sierra. Plops up in the air, the goalie comes to the rescue, and Spain clears. Daryl Hunter getting it into the New Zealand zone.
He's been a big part of their face-off wins. It seems as any of the contested face-offs that he's seemed to come away with the ball on the ground ball pretty significantly, and that's allowed them to kind of maintain possession.
Spain's 7th year participating in the 2018 FIL Lacrosse Championships. Finishing last year in the mid-20s, top 20 this year is a goal of theirs amongst the 46 teams. Nice move to the right, loose in front. That was Cinquana with the shot, and McLean with a heck of a save to plow it out. And back the other way, it's Van der Maas.
That's the third possession in a row that Spain has generated a very good scoring opportunity and hasn't been able to score either because of an error on the execution end or a great save by the goalie. If New Zealand can put one together here and maybe stretch the lead, this could be very significant in tipping the outcome in their favor.
Just a 2-goal lead. The feed to Clayton and a score. Second today for Andrew Clayton, the first multi-goal scorer for New Zealand. And they're doubling up Spain now, 6-3.
It's a big goal by New Zealand. They're kind of recognizing, putting the slider, putting Andrew Clayton's man as the slider and making him in an interesting position. Does he slide to the guy who's turning the corner to shoot? or allow one of their better players a chance to finish, or do they allow a guy who's beat ultimately to take a shot from a very precarious position? So it's a good offensive set, and it's obviously proved very effective for New Zealand on that possession.
How did he finally open himself up? Was it just a late slide, a rotation?
They slid. They were late on the second slide. They didn't actually have a guy get down behind him. He ended up, you can't leave a player of that quality open like that that far from the goalie.
New Zealand controls after the ball flutters out on the wing from that faceoff. Andrew Clayton, 27-year-old from Lake Oswego, Oregon. 2 goals on the day. 6-3, New Zealand on top of Spain. James Devine, 20 in black with the ball. Devine the spin. Clayton is stopped. Heck of a save.
The Spanish goalkeeping continues to keep them in the game. That was a great scoring chance for New Zealand. It was great offense, very similar offense to the previous possession. Just dodge to the opposite side. They throw a cross-crease pass. Goalie makes a terrific save.
Alvaro Cuchero Faras with the stop. He's been the man from the start tonight, or this afternoon rather, for Spain. This one started at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, so I should say morning local time.
What's on the field, gentlemen? Under 20 here.
Sinkrana with the double team. Fighting through, never got rid of it off the loose ball. It's gathered by Spain. McLean with the stop. He had some help in front. And the third quarter comes to a close after that frantic sequence. Sinkrana trying to put it home himself. Spain will talk it over. New Zealand feeling good, up 6-3 at the end of 3. We'll be back for more coverage of the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
At the time, if he needed some help with the program, and he said he was looking for an assistant coach, and I went through the interview process, and he ultimately offered me the job, and it's been a terrific experience being a part of the Puerto Rico program. Obviously, being a part of the FIL World Games is something I've always wanted to be a part of. Given the devastation of the recent hurricane, it's been an interesting time to be a part of it, and obviously the development of lacrosse on the island can take on a very, very significant positive experience coming out of the devastation there. So it's been an exciting thing to be a part of over the last few months.
No question. Opening face-off of the fourth quarter. Off the wing, it's New Zealand that collects. The lead is 6-3 with the fourth quarter just underway. Omar Al-Kayet with the pickup on the New Zealand side. They're in the black uniforms, shooting on the right here in the fourth, and Spain in the pennies, shooting on the left. Again, to clarify, Spain lost its uniforms in transit on the commute from Madrid to to Israel for the World Championships.
This is a big possession for New Zealand. If they can stretch the lead to 4, it becomes the biggest lead of the game, and they can start to really build some momentum and potentially get away as the game ends.
Miscue on the New Zealand side. Turnover as we move back to the left. Spain ball.
Bye.
Connor Cinqugrana, who has 2 goals of the 3 Spain has scored total. He's number 50 in the white.
Spain's going to need to have him continue to create offense. He has been a big part of their offensive possessions that have generated shots. They're going to need to put the ball in his stick as the game winds down to see if they can close this gap.
Daniel de la Casa, the closest to it. Spain comes up with possession again. You can hear the New Zealand sideline shouting 50, pointing out Swink Grana. He's been lethal today offensively. From the outside, McLean covers up that shot from the outside. New Zealand's Jeremy Kincaid, a two-way midi on display today on the New Zealand end.
New Zealand could milk the clock a little bit here, kind of generate a long possession, wear the Spanish defense down, and then ultimately finish here. This would be an extraordinarily big goal for them.
Nice move by Nebeski. Rips one wide to the right of the cage. Christopher Nebeski, 19 years old. He's the youngest player on this New Zealand team. The cradle by Devine. Robert skips it, Nebeski.
He's a good-looking athlete for a 19-year-old. This is a good matchup for him if he can get to his right hand.
Backing down the pole, Ian Rodriguez. Loose ball regathered by New Zealand. Casper White-Harris with the skip. And once again, to your point, Andy, New Zealand can run some clock down. As we approach 4 minutes into quarter number 4, it is a running clock with a break midway through for the players to rehydrate. Roberts to the middle, and Clayton's got a hat trick.
You could see them setting that offensive up. They were trying to set Clayton's guy as the slide guy. They slid. Again, the same thing that happened on one of the goals in the previous quarter. There was a late second slide. Clayton catches and finishes. Obviously one of their best shooters. You can't leave him at 11, 12 yards in the middle of the cage uncontested. If being late, he puts it in the back of the net.
Largest lead of the game. New Zealand up 7-3. 3 of those G's belong to Andrew Clayton. One of the leaders of that squad. Not officially a captain on the roster, a captain of that attack on the New Zealand side. Jack Adams. Also Nathan Henneray. Casey McLean, the goalie. As well as Frederick Lee. Scrum on the other side. Spain looks to clear.
They're going to need to take some chances here in transition in order to close this gap now. They've obviously been trying to play long possessions most of the game, but as the clock winds down, you're not going to be able to play long possession for long possession in order to keep the pace. They're going to have to take some chances to try to get some quick goals. Spain's looking for the matchup that they think they can win.
De La Casa gets rid of it. Swink Grana. Now it's Rodriguez Romero, number 1, having a hard time finding lanes. There's a pick up top for Fernando Martinez Sierra. Twirling through, bodies flailing. McLean rips it away and sends it over the timeline. Into Clayton's grasp. And Henare slows it up. 13 minutes to go in regulation. New Zealand the ball and the lead by 4.
New Zealand's defense athletically is starting to impose itself on the Spanish offense, and as they try to force the ball to the cage, the weaker shots that Spain generates there are not going to be effective against the quality New Zealand goaltender. So it could end up working to a big disadvantage as New Zealand has the ball now. They won't be in any hurry to play a lot of offense either.
On the dish to Clayton, he goes BTB for goal number 4. Oh man, what a finish by Andrew Clayton. And New Zealand is up by 5. Jeremy Kincaid with the find.
They're doing a good job finding Andrew inside. Jeremy Kincaid kind of dodged from X, drew the defender. You're going to start to see a little bit more of that from New Zealand. I think they're going to be very slow and deliberate offensively. They're going to put Andrew Clayton inside. They're going to force Spain to actually attack the Dodger, and they're going to look to throw it inside to Andrew Clayton and extend the lead. Obviously, he made a pretty crafty finish in there, and that's his forte. That New Zealand's found that's probably their most effective form of offense, to put their athletic midfielders on the perimeter and put their most prolific offensive player on the inside against the Spanish defense.
11 minutes to play. Can Spain find a run in itself here? St. Grana with the kick out. That's for Nianu. But a turnover on Spain's end as Max Vandermaas looked to clear, but loose once more.
New Zealand's athleticism is starting to take over defensively. They're starting to impose it on the Spanish offense, and it's ultimately forcing turnovers and creating some of these transition opportunities. It wouldn't surprise me as the game moves along if they continue to force the ball defensively, force the pace of play defensively, that they can create a transition goal here going from defense to offense at some point before the end of this game.
Another shot. Edward Roberts looking for his second today. Just flailed it left. But New Zealand keeps possession. 9.5 to go, up by 5.
Spain's going to be forced to extend themselves defensively, which is going to play into the New Zealand offensive kind of draw and look to the inside. Could allow them to create more high quality scoring chances.
4 straight goals for New Zealand after Spain had the first score of the second half. Another great save on the Spain side. The kick-out save with the right foot from Faras. And a flag at midfield as Spain player goes down. Tough hit on Inigo Macias Sarredo.
New Zealand's probably fouled more than they would have liked to, because they have given Spain several man-up chances. And obviously, they've created a couple of scoring opportunities and had a couple of goals on the man-up. And it's also alleviated some of New Zealand's momentum, just kind of untimely penalties. It's allowed Spain to kind of keep, the pace of the game has ultimately been more to Spain's liking than New Zealand. but it's ultimately been a little bit of it's probably been a little bit frustrating for the New Zealand coaching staff that they've had some chances to really extend the lead, and then a penalty has kind of brought the game back more to the Spanish team's pace of play, and it's kept the game close for probably longer than the coaching staff would have liked.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip now.
Fourth quarter rolling on. New Zealand and Spain. Spain possession. Up a man here after the New Zealand penalty. But Spain just threw it away off the set piece.
It looked like they were going to set up the four-man rotation that they've run a couple of times already successfully. Just weren't able to complete enough passes to get back to it. Spain's going to have to put a little bit more pressure on the ride, which is going to open up the field a little bit for New Zealand, which is going to allow them to continue to take advantage of their athleticism.
Nice move, threading the needle by New Zealand. That was James Devine, but he was held up. Spain players crashed to the end line, looking to cause more transition.
Spain's got some transition in the open field. They're going to have to continue to push the ball to try to close the gap.
Hey, don't forget today's game brought to you by Gladiator Lacrosse. Equipment designed and perfected by lacrosse players for lacrosse players seeking to take their game to the next level. Visit gladiatorlacrosse.com today. Cascade Lacrosse, also a sponsor of the 2018 FIL World Championships, the #1 helmet in lacrosse, and proud to be the official helmet of this year's World Championships. See more by following Cascade Lacrosse on Instagram. Cascade Lacrosse, a passion to protect. Spain down 5, New Zealand with the ball. A lot more action here for Christopher Nebeski. He's number 8 on the bottom of your screen right now. Devine's been the quarterback behind the cage. Clayton's got 3 goals in the second half. 4 total for New Zealand. Devine with the skip feed. intended for Nebeski, intended for Henere, and he runs out of room. Turnover.
New Zealand doesn't need to take those chances at this point. With the 5-goal lead, they can be very patient, force Spain to extend, and ultimately make a series of simple passes in order to generate offense.
Spain the other way. Let's see if the Spanish side can tack on a few more. Not the case. McLean with the stop. Casey McLean playing with his head on a swivel today. Standing on his head as well in cage so far.
We haven't talked enough about the level of play that he has had at the New Zealand end of the field. He's had at least 10 saves. That he hasn't been challenged on all of them, obviously, because the New Zealand defense has been extraordinarily effective, but he has also bailed them out several times when they have broken down, and that's allowed New Zealand to kind of continue to play aggressively and continue to extend a little bit as the game's gone on.
Under 5 minutes left of the fourth. Spain looking to set up.
New Zealand's continued to press out even though they're man down, forcing Spain to play with a little bit of pace to their game, and it's ultimately benefited New Zealand at the end of the day.
Nina with a rocket. McLean the save, but a bounce shot to score. Connor Sinkrana with number 3. He's got a hat trick. And a timeout for head coach Mike Bartlett and Spain.
Sinkrana's had a great game today. He's been the focus of the New Zealand defense, yet he's been able to create 3 different goals for himself, and he's had several other scoring chances. Obviously, McLean has made a couple of very big saves to bail him out. He's had opportunities where if he'd have finished at a high rate, he would have had 5 or 6.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited.
Oh, assistant coach Andy Whitley taking in Plum Division play, group play of the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships. So looking at this division, New Zealand's got to hang on now for 4 minutes and change. There's no saying Spain is out of it, but there was some chatter that this could be one-sided. Spain's held their own in this one, and New Zealand was tested today.
I think New Zealand ultimately is ultimately probably the best team in the bracket, but it's ultimately their level of athleticism has ultimately been pretty surprising. I think Spain did a very nice job kind of planning to keep the game competitive and keep the game at a pace that they could win the game. I mean, this was a 1 or 2 goal game for a lion's share of the game. Once New Zealand kind of got their legs under them, you could see they were able to start to stretch the lead and impose their athleticism. But these World Championships are always exciting because the guys play really hard. Anytime you put on the uniform for your country, it ultimately is going to bring out the best of what you have to give, and that was shown today. I mean, Spain obviously competed extraordinarily hard and continues to against a team that probably has a little bit more depth than they do. Again, lacrosse is kind of funny. You win face-offs and get goalie play, you're going to be around a lot longer. And Spain had some really high-level goalie play and was able to string face-off wins together to keep the game close.
Cinquegrana, his alley cut off. He looked to feed the left side. And a nice move on defense. Once again by James France, number 4 in black. It's a round of applause from the sideline.
New Zealand did a nice job making adjustments once they realized that Spain was going to slide very quickly to Andrew Clayton. They put him on the inside and kind of allowed him to be on the finishing end of their offense and use their athletic midfielders to create their offense, and it allowed them to open up that a little bit in the second half for them.
You mentioned New Zealand and what they can do in this division, the Plum division. Another score, this time it's Kincaid, his second of the day. Make it 9-4. New Zealand. Great awareness with that opening.
Obviously, as the score gets away, that Spain's going to have to extend a little bit, and it's going to open up their defense a little bit, and that'll allow New Zealand to kind of, again, impose their athleticism over time. But it's New Zealand's going to be a force to be reckoned with. They have a chance to make some, to win some games and string some wins together. Obviously, they're big and athletic defensively. You have good goalie play. They're very patient on offense, and they have athletic midfielders, so you can kind of create from the attack or from the midfield, which gives you some flexibility there. It'll be interesting to see if I think if they can win some face-offs, they got a chance to really make some noise in this tournament.
They finished 12th last year, or pardon, in 2014 during the 2014 World Championships in Denver, Colorado. Spain finished 29th in 2014. Under 2 minutes now to play in the fourth.
12th in the world is wildly impressive for a team that their head coach told us, had approximately about 350 players in the organization. To be able to compete at a level where they seem to be sniffing around the top 10 is a wildly impressive infrastructure for the program.
Spain trying to tack some more on.
Sticks up.
Can you talk to them? Can we talk to the old event?
The other Plum division member, Croatia. Saw the Olive division compete last night. And that division comprised of 4 teams, most of the other divisions with just 3 teams. Outside of the Blue division, of course.
Be an interesting game tonight with Team USA and
Iroquois Nation.
And the Iroquois Nation to kick off the Blue division.
Iroquois will be in town, leaving yesterday afternoon. Bounce shot flailed wide, another stop. Casey McLean is having himself an excellent morning. He's ramped up his play in the second half. Another shot by Cinquegrana. Missed it wide. The officials conferring here about some miscues on both sidelines. New Zealand aiming for a timeout, while Spain said there was a penalty.
We got it this morning. They give us all this morning. Here.
Coaches, listen up. Referee, official error. Black 14, 1 minute penalty. He'll return at 30 seconds. Black 14 will serve another 30 seconds. Timeout has been called by Black. Timeout, Black.
So we have a timeout on the field with 51 seconds to work with. We'll take a quick break and come back. Again, the score, New Zealand 9, Spain 4. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships.
But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
Today's forecast, always sunny. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, vacation beyond belief. Book your trip.
So Spain is on the man up. Penalty against New Zealand's Max Vandermaas, and a timeout was just taken by New Zealand. So these final seconds will trickle down. Croatia, the other team of this division.
Let's go in, down.
The Plum division. New Zealand poised for another great run after finishing 12th in 2014 in Denver.
They have a lot of pieces. It's probably very realistic for them to feel like they could get into the top 10 if things go very well for them.
On the kick, a shot, and Sincaro is held up as Sinkrana, pardon, with the missed shot. 14 seconds to work with. Spain trying to add another. And a misfire from Diego Laras Ramirez.
New Zealand's defense has locked down Spain at the end as they've tried to push. It's been a very impressive second half.
And that'll do it. In the first game of Plum Division play, New Zealand tops Spain by the final of 9-4. Croatia, the other team in this division, has action going on later today. So for Andy Whitley, I'm Brendan Glasheen. Thanks for watching the first game of the Plum Division group play. We will be back for more action here on Wingate Field number 5. Stay tuned for more. This is the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships.